Hello, welcome to Comcast Newsmakers, bringing you news and information from people making a difference in our communities. I'm Beverly Weaver, and joining me now is Tara Beiter-Fluhr, Councilmember for Ward 3 for the City of Sheridan. Welcome. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Beverly.
Let's begin with an overview. For people who may not know what the borders of the City of Sheridan are, tell me a little bit about your city.
Well, we're generally located in the southwest metro area. Most people know us if they drive by on Santa Fe or on 285. We're kind of at that intersection there. And we also have Oxford Avenue goes through our city and Federal Boulevard. Right. So people are very familiar with those main thoroughfares.
Exactly. And we want to focus on the yes vote that you got from residents in Sheridan on 2A last year. Tara, tell me what that ballot issue was and why it's so important to the city.
Well, what 2A did was we were working on a bond refinancing for the River Point development, and 2A allowed us to cut out some net new revenue for the city. And the benefit is, previously the sales tax increment in River Point was really used solely to support River Point.
Yeah.
And so this net new revenue is beneficial to the entire city. And of course, in these times, that's really needed to let us work on our infrastructure, especially.
Did you hear a lot from residents who said, you know, this nice new development on Riverfront, which is beautiful, is great, but we need a lot of help in our neighborhoods and on our regular city streets?
Well, definitely. I mean, we've had wonderful, positive feedback from citizens about the River Point development, but at the same time, I think everyone feels like their own area is being neglected because we have been in this recession and the money hasn't been there to maintain the roads the way we'd like to.
Yeah.
So we heard that loud and clear.
Yeah.
We've heard that and we said, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to try to get this net new revenue and we're going to come up with a plan now for how we can start working on our roads and our infrastructure. What we're trying to do is come up with the most fair and logical way to do it, because obviously there are needs throughout the city. Everyone knows their own street,
right,
and they think their street is the worst.
Exactly.
But we have to be fair, and we can't work on everything all at once.
Now, I know Oxford is a high priority for you in particular. What is it about Oxford that really needs work, and what do you plan to do there?
Well, like most of the roads in the city, it has been neglected. We were lucky enough with 2A at the end of last year, we were able to resurface a portion of it just from Federal to Clay. So that part is looking pretty good now. But the remainder of Oxford, we haven't worked on yet. And I think it's very important because it is, I would say, a important thoroughfare for us because it's like a gateway to our city. At one end on the east you have the River Point development and the light rail station in Santa Fe, and then on the west end of Oxford within Sheridan we have our civic center and our schools. So it really ties together these two important centers for the city.
Yeah.
So we need to make it more attractive and more well maintained. Right now it's adequately maintained, I think, compared to some of the roads, but it needs work, and it's really not all that attractive, and it needs to be, I think, more friendly for drivers and for bikers and for pedestrians.
And where are you in that process, Tara, of making those changes?
Well, so far we've had a pavement analysis done for the entire city, so we have a grasp on which roads are in the most dire straits.
Exactly.
And so now we have to really consider what's our approach going to be, because when you have something like a pavement analysis plan, they'll give you, here's a red road, and that means it really needs a lot of work. And here's, maybe a blue road, and maybe that one doesn't need as much work. But you have to consider, do I want to do a red road, which means completely redoing it, which is very expensive, or do I want to do some of these blue roads every year to keep them up so that they don't become red roads?
Right.
So there's a balancing act there between the ones that are mediocre and the ones that are really in bad shape.
Yeah, and certainly infrastructure sounds like the real key, and the recent accomplishments for the City Council. How do people get involved in city government? I'm sure you heard from a lot of folks, but it is important for them to be involved.
I'm just surprised sometimes by how little involvement there is. And I really encourage people, even if they just have an hour or two a month, that they can be involved. In a city as small as Sheridan, we only have 5,600 residents. If you're such a small city, you can make a huge impact just with that hour or two a month of your time.
And people can go to your website to get more information, right?
Right. It's www.ci.sheridan.co.us.
All right. Good information. Tara Beiter-Fluhr, a council member for the City of Sheridan. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much.
And thanks for watching Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Beverly Weaver.